Good afternoon, friends. Welcome back to the homestead. So it is a wonderful, cool evening. It has been a hot day and I am finally ready to go out to the garden and start tackling the monster that is there. So we had about 4 days of straight rain and I wasn't able to get into the garden as much because of all the mud. And I went out yesterday and I noticed that my tomatoes have grown like 3 feet. It's ridiculous. They're super tall and they're starting to lean over, so I need to trellis them up right now. My thought was to use the cattle panels, but that's expensive and I have tons of leftover tobacco sticks that the previous owner left in the barn. I'm gonna go ahead and utilize those for half of the rows because I've got 3 rows. I'm gonna go ahead and use the tobacco sticks for one of the rows, and then the next row, if I have some left over, I'm gonna go ahead and do it for that one. But eventually I will get my trellis in there for the other ones. But I thought, why don't I just do a little experiment and see which way I like trellising up my tomatoes best. So I've got one idea. Let me show you what that idea is. All right, friends, so here are my tomatoes. And last year I had purchased one of these to help trellis up my tomatoes on stakes, but I don't have enough stakes to do 200 tomato plants individually. So I did a few of them on the ends, the ones that really needed it now. I went ahead and trellised them up with the stakes. Now I'm gonna go through and trellis them up with string. So we'll see how this works and I'll bring you guys along as I do that. All right, friends, so now I'm gonna go ahead and show you what I'm going to be doing. And this is just for half of the tomatoes. I plan on doing the other tomatoes with a metal trellis. This is just for right now what I need to do to get some of these up off the ground because I don't want them laying out on the ground and getting ruined. So let me show you some of these tomatoes and why I need to trellis them up ASAP. So here's one, and it should be nice and tall, but it's got this bend in it from laying on the ground. So I need to try and see if I can lift this and hopefully bend it back into place to where it's going straight up and not have this curve in it. But this is from all that rain that we had. We had so much rain in here, which is good for the plants, but not good for the gardener who's trying to keep on top of these. All right, friends, so these are the tobacco poles that were left in the barn, and I'm gonna go use these as my stakes in place of T-posts right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and start over here and start doing these every 3 tomatoes. I'm gonna go ahead and put a stake in, and then we're gonna take some string across that the whole length, and we're gonna start stringing up our tomatoes so they can be nice and tall. That's what I'm hoping to do. I've only trellised tomatoes, well, I've never had this many tomatoes, so I've only trellised them with stakes, and I just don't have 200 plus stakes to trellis tomatoes up. So I'm gonna use what I have, and then we're just gonna keep figuring it out as we go. This is a lot of work, friends, but it's got to be done. All right, friends, so now that I have all of my stakes here put in the ground, I'm gonna go ahead and start trellising up the tomatoes that are with the stakes. And how I'm gonna do that is I'm gonna take my little gadget here, and this is some tape that's gonna go around it. Not sticky tape, just so this goes around the tomato and around the stake. Click it together, and now it's gonna hold up my tomatoes. I'm gonna do that one more time up here, and I just put it together and it clips on, and then I'm just gonna go around and it's gonna hold up this. So this will continue to grow up, and as it continues to grow up, I will come through with this and trellis it up the stakes. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that with all the stakes that I have here. Same thing with this one. I'm gonna pull it up, take this around, clip it, and now this is gonna stay held up. I'm gonna do that one more time. And there, now my tomato is all up. So later on, I'm gonna come through and take these all off. So that way it's just these top branches that are gonna be up here. All right, friends, so it's the next day. We're back in the garden. I was able to stake up every single one of these tomatoes with the wood that I had in the barn, and these are all the tobacco sticks that were left in the barn, and I utilized every single one of them. There's still a bunch still in there, but I was able to get all 200 tomato plants with a stake in front of it. Now, after I went ahead and staked them all up, I was gonna go through with my little machine and put them up against the stakes, but I ran out of staples, and I can't for the life of me find those staples anywhere. I found the tape, but I couldn't find the staples. So I went to Lowe's, I went to Walmart, I went to Tractor Supply, and I went to Ace trying to find these staples. And they do not carry the staples because they are tiny little staples. So I'm gonna have to look online to Amazon and find where I got that little machine and order it from there. So while I was at Tractor Supply, I found these. And these are basically little twisty ties that you find on your bread. But they're made for plants. So I went ahead and bought a couple of these, and I'm gonna go ahead and stake up my tomatoes with this until I can get my staples in for the machine that my husband got me last year that I absolutely love. And friends, I think I'm going a little crazy with tomatoes because while I was at Tractor Supply, I picked up some more tomatoes. I just had to have them. They were heirloom tomatoes that I didn't have, and I'm thinking, hey, I can use these, and next year this year I can save the seeds, and I can plant the seeds next year and I don't have to buy them again. So let me show you what I got. All right, friends, so I'm sure you've met the crazy chicken lady. I am now officially the crazy tomato lady. I'm gonna start calling myself that. So I picked up 2 of the German Queen tomatoes, and these are all heirloom tomatoes. I got 2 more of the Cherokee purple tomatoes because I didn't have enough. I got 2 more of the Mr. Stripey tomatoes because my one tomato that I put by the house, it died. So I had to get 2 more. 2 more tomato, stripey, Mr. Stripeys. And the last one is a black cherry tomato. And these are little cherry tomatoes, and they're black, which is really cool. So I got 2 of these. So now I need to go ahead and put them in the garden so that they can grow nice and tall. And on top of that, I've got my second succession of tomatoes that I planted just in case all of these didn't make it. I went ahead and planted a second succession row, and those are all doing great, and now I need to plant those as well. So my 3rd row that's not quite complete will be complete after today once I plant all of my tomatoes in there. All right, so first let me go ahead and start staking up the tomatoes that I haven't staked up yet. So let me go ahead and do that right now, and I'll bring you guys along while I do that. So I really like this, but I liked my other one better. I just feel that this is a little bit too harsh on the plant and can start cutting into it, where the tape was thick and it was soft and you didn't have to do it so tight. This is pretty tight in order to keep it staying up, but it's gonna do for now until I get the staples for my other one, and then I'll come through and I'll change it out later on. But this is at least getting them off the ground so they're not laying across the ground and they're not getting any disease or bug damage. But it's pretty cool. So you pull it through and then you just hold this down and it cuts it. There we go. I just need my other thumb. And then it cuts it off and it holds it in there so I don't have to worry about a whole big spill going all over the place. And I cut it off and now I can tie it up. Alright friends, so we finished the second row of tomatoes. We are going to call it a night because it's already starting to get dark. It's about 8:30 here. and I didn't even finish one roll of this stuff, so it's actually quite a bit, and it did the one whole row of tomatoes. I still have the third row to do, plus I need to plant all those other tomatoes that I picked up today. So I hope you enjoyed this video of me staking up my tomatoes. Let me know in the comments how you stake up your tomatoes. I'd love to hear about it and how it works for you. Until next time, friends, I hope all is well and have a blessed day.